item.
Sure. Kristen, I'm sorry. We're getting to the top of the hour, so I just wanted to give Dr. Shaw a chance to respond to that. We did talk with the governor about it, and we're also going to be focusing on this Monday on Maine calling child care. But Dr. Shaw, in about a minute, if you could wrap up a response to Kristen.
Well, Kristen, these are very challenging decisions, and they also we have to make sure that we, of course, keep the health and welfare of children first and foremost. And this is a situation where there are considerations, part of which are the fact that, not the fact, but early data that suggests that children are not as affected as adults, specifically young children. So there are many pieces in the air, and all of those go into trying to help us assess what decisions need to be made with respect to child care providers. What I can say is that those decisions are always under review, and as new data come in, the entire team at the Department of Health and Human Services under Commissioner Lambrew are always taking a look at the best thing we should be doing for kids.
Kristen, thanks for your question. We are at the halfway point for today's show. This is a special 2-hour Maine Calling program. I'm talking with Dr. Nirav Shah, Director of Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention. We will be back to talk more about the coronavirus emergency in Maine and answer your questions after the newscast. Please stay with us. We'll return again after the news.
Major support of Maine Calling's special coverage is provided by Eastern Basements, a division of Eastern Mold Remediation, a Maine-owned company committed to the health and wellness of their employees and customers. Eastern Basements believes a well-informed public is key to keeping Maine's communities safe and healthy. EasternBasements.com. You're listening to listener-supported Maine Public Radio. WMEA Portland at 90.1, WMEH Bangor 90.9, WMEAW Waterville 91.3, WMED Calais 89.7, WMEM Presque Isle 106.1, WMEF Fort Kent 106.5, WMEP Camden 90.5, and also on the web at mainepublic.org. In the weather today, mostly sunny statewide, northwest winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 30, and highs 28 to 45 degrees north to south. Coming up is the second hour of Maine Calling's special rebroadcast after this news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. Illinois and New York are following California's lead, implementing new restrictions on movement this weekend to limit the spread of the coronavirus. Illinois' restrictions are taking effect today, New York's tomorrow night. In the meantime, Governor Andrew Cuomo announced today the state is in desperate need of supplies.
We are literally scouring the globe looking for medical supplies. We've identified 2 million N95 masks, which are the high protection masks.
Cuomo says at least 10,000 people in New York State have tested positive for the coronavirus, including 3,000 new cases. NPR's Hansi Lo Wang has more from New York City.
Governor Andrew Cuomo has ordered all businesses in New York to close starting Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, except for public transit, grocery stores, and other essential services. In New York City, many doctors and nurses are struggling to make do with few protective masks left in hospitals. The city's health commissioner, Dr. Osidis Barbeau, is urging residents, especially younger people, to stay indoors.
Every time New Yorkers go out unnecessarily, they are adding potential flame to the fire of spreading COVID-19.
Barbeau says she's bracing for the number of New Yorkers who die every day from the coronavirus to rise from a single to double digits soon. Hansi Lo Wang, NPR News, New York.
Countries throughout Europe are reporting large spikes in coronavirus cases as governments do what they can to slow the spread of the virus. From Berlin, NPR's Rob Schmitz has an update.
There are now more than 130,000 confirmed coronavirus cases throughout Europe, with more than a third of them in Italy, where the healthcare system could become the next Spain or Italy. Rob Schmitz, NPR News, Berlin.
Italy's Lombardy region is reporting 546 more people have died of COVID-19 just since yesterday, another daily high. Switzerland's health ministry is reporting a 25% increase in new infections over the past 24 hours. They now total 6,100 cases. Hospitals near hard-hit Italy are under intense pressure. This is NPR. The Egyptian government is closing the country's mosques and churches for 2 weeks. Egypt's leaders were criticized for not calling off Friday prayers yesterday. Jordan is under a 3-day curfew. In Israel, a person who survived the Holocaust is the country's first person to die from COVID-19. NPR's Daniel Estrin reports from Jerusalem.
Israeli media report that 88-year-old Aryeh Even was a Holocaust survivor who moved from Hungary to Israel in 1949. He was one of several at a retirement home in Jerusalem to catch the coronavirus. In a statement, his family said they were saddened not to be able to be with him during his final days. They were asked to stay away, not to catch the virus. Coronavirus cases in Israel have spiked in recent days to more than 800. Israelis are required to stay at home, with some exceptions. But many Israelis went outside to enjoy good weather Saturday. Health ministry officials threaten stricter lockdown measures if crowds don't comply. Daniel Estrin, NPR News, Jerusalem.
Another casualty of the pandemic, Peace Corps volunteers. They've all been dismissed after the Peace Corps suspended volunteer activities until the pandemic is over. The Corps says it's working closely with the State Department to bring volunteers home. But the volunteers are being dismissed rather than suspended. They'll receive an evacuation allowance, but those on grants are required to return any unspent funds, and paychecks will end, as will health insurance. I'm Barbara Klein, NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from Total Wine & More, where in-store teams can recommend a bottle of wine, spirit, or beer for any occasion. Shoppers can explore more than 8,000 wines, 2,500 beers, and 3,000 spirits. More at TotalWine.com.
Welcome back. I'm Jennifer Rooks, and this is Maine Calling. Today's show is a special 2-hour conversation with Dr. Nirav Shah, Director of the Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention. He is giving us the latest updates about the coronavirus situation in Maine, and he is here to answer your questions. If you have questions, you can email talk@mainepublic.org, tweet at Maine Calling, post a comment to our Facebook page, or call us at 1-800-399-3566. We're trying to get to as many questions as possible. Very certain we will not get to them all, but we are making a really good effort. Dr. Shah, I want to start this hour with just a couple of the many compliments that are coming in to you through this crisis. Jody in South Portland says, just want to thank Dr. Shah for his exceptionally clear and kind communication. It helps a great deal. And this is from Marion. I am an older veterinarian in Lincolnville, having practiced for nearly 40 years. I have been following the thorough, compassionate, instructive information provided by Dr. Shah as this pandemic unfolds. I admire and applaud his confidence, clarity, and kindness in his responses, and consistent efforts to invest Maine people in their own control over the spread of this virus. Furthermore, he does not ignore the bigger picture of the basic need for human companionship.